Welcome everyone to a special Taste Talk where you are going to learn to speak Instagram. So we are going to be going over all of the basic terminology in Instagram so that you, whenever you would like to have a conversation about that platform, you can actually speak intelligently and well educated on the subject. I think all of you actually here know me. I am Christine Duke. I'm the Continuing Education Program Manager at Kendall College at National Louis University, but I am also an adjunct faculty member, and I instruct students on the use of social media and how to well make use of it with their in order to share their own culinary or baking and pastry creations. And I actually have a lot of hospitality students take the class well because it is such a great thing to be aware of in order to market anything from events to bakeries to restaurants to food trucks, etc. So it is definitely something that people want to have in their back pockets these days, because if starting up a business, you definitely have a lot of things that you need to spend money on, especially in the food industry. So many things such as labor, your equipment, the food. If there's anything that you can tighten your belt on, it would be marketing, which unfortunately is something you really need to push. But if you have the skill set in order to do it yourself, that's a great way that you can actually save some money and allocate that to something else that you might need with your business. So I wanted to first talk to you a little bit about Instagram. I've been on Instagram for many, many years, and within the past 3 or 4 years, I have actually grown on that platform, and I am an influencer, digital creator on that platform. So I am posting almost daily, and I actually collaborate with businesses and brands in order to promote what they have and create awareness of their brands within that platform. Instagram itself has 1 billion, that is with a B, billion monthly active users on the platform. There are more than 500 million active users on that app daily. It is the second most engaged network. Facebook is the first. That doesn't mean it's going to stay that way, though. People really do enjoy Instagram as a platform due to its visual appeal. Everyone loves to see things with their eyes first. So it's so easy for you to scroll through, get intrigued by something from a beautiful image, and then delve into it a little bit more by actually reading the caption and finding out more about that image from it. So it's actually estimated that 71% of US businesses use Instagram for their business. So it is a great place for businesses to either get information about what they're doing, or brand awareness being created across the platform and new people coming and finding them. 83% of Instagram users have said that they have discovered a new product or a service within the platform. So it is such a great marketing tool, and the best part about it is everyone already has it right within their pocket. So it's information being sent to them directly. Okay, so we are going to go in and look at some things in Instagram and kind of let you know the layout of things. So I am going to share my screen so that you guys can see things a little bit more in depth. So first here, one second. So first I wanted to show you kind of where home base is on Instagram. So if you're looking at what is all about you, your personal profile and biography, this is going to be kind of the layout of what your own homepage would look like. So I've actually shared some places that many of you may be kind of familiar with. You will see when you are at your own homepage, you will have, you know, a little profile picture. some information that you have about your business that you have put in yourself, and kind of you get to see all of the images that you have for yourself. We will go into all the different terms on what everything's called in just a little bit, but I wanted to show you some examples of what some professionals are, how they are using it. It's really amazing because like Mindy Siegel, hers is done very intelligently because she has a lot of different businesses and all of them have their own separate Instagram accounts. So she makes sure and lists all of her different businesses in it. And when she puts in that business and the Instagram account with the @ sign, it actually activates it to make it an active link. So if I went and was looking at Mindy Siegel's profile page right here and I wanted to learn more about the Hot Chocolate Bakery or Revival Foods, all I have to do is click on that and that will take me over to that Instagram profile and I can see what that is all about. So she's created kind of like portals and funnels to take you to other places so that people can actually go and learn more about what she's doing, and she's connecting all of those dots for you. All right, we're gonna go and take a look at a couple more. So here we can actually look at the full anatomy of a profile and bio for Instagram. So we're looking at, actually is a friend of mine, Amber, her handle, which that would be your Instagram name, we call that a handle. Hers is styles plus curves. When creating a handle, you want to make sure it's something that's easy for people to remember. Using things in it such as numbers is something I actually discourage. The only time you should use numbers within a profile is when the numbers have a certain purpose. If you go and you put, let's say, if I changed my handle to CDuke76, what's the first thing you think of when you hear that 76? You probably think that was the year I was born. So what can you conclude from that? You can absolutely conclude what my age is. Do we want people to necessarily know that information? No. There's a lot of reasons we don't want people to know that information, because you may be trying to appeal to a demographic or an age group that is actually different than what you are. So you want to kind of suppress that information and hide that away. You don't need everyone knowing your age. That's none of their business anyways. So you want to make sure if you are using a number within it, it's something purposeful. Definitely you want to look for a handle that's going to be something easily memorable and not difficult to spell. Putting tricky spellings and things makes it harder for people to find you. So then your profile picture, you definitely want to make sure it's something that's easy to see, that it's identifiable. If you're doing something for a business, maybe it's something very graphic. If you're doing something that's all about food, maybe it's not going to be a picture of a person, maybe it's going to be a baked good or a dish or something like that. But you want to make sure that it's bright, clear, enough exposure, something that you can really read and understand. It's actually recommended that if you are doing a profile picture with yourself in it, you want it to be a tight headshot. You do not want it to be full body because it becomes really hard to really see what it is, because this is an image you cannot zoom in on. You cannot get a closer view. And if you are doing a headshot of yourself, you also want to make sure that your eyes are connecting out with the viewer. Because what happens is when we see, even on a screen or anything like that, when we see someone's eyes looking right back at us, there's a little click that goes off in our brain that helps us to remember that person in that image a little bit more. So you're already setting them off and getting that into their memory and making them remember you. So it's always best to have the gaze coming right out at the viewer. Okay, so then we have your biography, which you want to look at that as your elevator pitch. There's so many different styles and ways that you can do it. Some people like to bullet point it, like say they're in pastry, they'll be like, pastry, Kendall student, da-da-da, Chicago, da-da-da-da-da. giving people all the little nits and bits of information that they need. It's a really great, clean way to let people know what's going on, who you are, what they can expect from your feed. And you want it to speak towards that. You want it to talk about what they're going to be seeing in their feeds so they know what to get from you. You don't want to leave it blank, because then people aren't going to learn anything. They're not going to have any interest when they come and they'll take a look at it and they're like, oh, there's nothing going on here, so maybe I'm not that interested. You want to make sure you have something in there to kind of trigger people's interest and have it be something that maybe they relate to, maybe they want to learn about, something like that. So then we all have the ability, whether you have an account as private, an account as personal, or an account as a business account. Those are 3 different kinds of accounts that you can have. We all have the ability to put a web link in it. So that's a way to actually bring people to somewhere else on the internet. It may be, maybe you have a blog, maybe you have a business that has a website. So that's a place for you to put another funnel for them to go off to where you may want them to get more information and learn more about you. Then, as we continue down, some people, you may see these little circles down here on their profile page. Those are called highlights. The highlights are actually a collection of Instagram stories that are kind of put together like a little scrapbook. We'll talk a little bit more about Instagram stories when we go through this, but because Instagram stories only have a 24-hour window that they are present and viewable, this is a way to kind of archive those, store them, and make it possible for people to go back and still see them. Whereas when we move down further, we get to your grid, which is actually the viewing and the collection of all of the posts that your feed has ever produced. Okay, so you will see all of the posts, and you can actually scroll down and see everything that you have ever posted onto Instagram. And then I'm going to go a little bit further right here. If you see right here, there is a grid on the left side. And then over here on the right is a little icon with a person's picture in it. If you click on that little icon, you actually see every post that your account has ever been tagged within. So I will be talking a little bit more about tagging in the future of this discussion. So you will learn exactly what that means and why this is something that's kind of important to brands and businesses. Okay, give me 1 second. Does anyone have any questions yet? Okay, now let me pull up my other slide. Sorry, folks, just bear with me. Okay, we are now going to look at an Instagram post and get to learn a little bit more about that. Ugh. So a post itself is what you put together and then have present on your feed. So a post has a few different elements. The first and king of everything is going to be your image. Without an image, you cannot have a post. So, but there are a lot of people out there who will just go and post a picture, and that's it. They'll stop right there. It'll just be the picture and nothing else. But that picture can carry so much more weight and value behind it. There are 3 different things that you can provide in order to give your post more value. You can choose to educate people with it. You can choose to entertain people with it. You can choose to engage people or give them an opportunity to engage back with yourself. Or you can do all three or any combination thereof. So how do we do those things? By creating a well thought out caption. The caption is your opportunity to actually say something about that image. Now, some people will go, they'll put up their image, they'll have this French toast, they'll say, French toast with apples and blueberries. That's it. Yeah, I can see that's French toast with apples and blueberries. I'm on this because I'm a visual person. I can see that. I didn't learn anything. I wasn't entertained. I don't really have anything to say to you when you're telling me what it is. I see what it is. So you have to think a little bit beyond that. Do you want to tell a story? Give an anecdote. Give some facts. Where did French toast originate from? What's cool about French toast? What's different about this French toast? Maybe you want to supply the recipe. Maybe you want to tell about a restaurant that you got it at and they're actually doing takeout right now and you want to share that information and help, promote restaurants that are open right now. There's just so many different directions that you could go with it. Maybe you want to ask people about how they like to take their French toast. What's your favorite French toast? Where'd you get it from? That's actually creating an opportunity for people to engage back with you. And why would we want people to engage back with us on Instagram? I want you to think of Instagram not as something that's just on your phone. Think of it more like a cocktail party, a social event. What do you do when you go to a social event? You network with people, you chit chat with people, you mingle, you start conversations. That is the exact same thing you should be doing on social media platforms, starting conversations. How do you do that best? Ask a question, ask a personal question, ask a person's opinion. People love to answer this or that questions. What's your favorite? Everyone wants to talk about themselves. Start them doing it. And then when they respond back to you, don't leave them hanging. Say something else back. Start kind of conversing on your social media. This engagement that happens actually is helpful towards your account on social media because it helps build you up within that algorithm. Gets you more exposure, gets you in front of more people. Plus, you create a back and forth with someone who maybe wasn't following you, maybe saw your picture in their feed or somewhere. You may gain a new follower, which is always a plus on Instagram. So within your caption, let's say you were talking about a specific brand or a restaurant or something else. It sometimes is a really, really fabulous idea to tag that business or brand within your caption. It's kind of like a tap on the shoulder, like, hey, guess what? I'm talking about you and I'm saying nice things about you. Of course, you're not going to want to tag someone if it's something negative. You want to try and keep things positive. Really want to keep things positive on Instagram because it does have that going over it more than some things on Facebook tend to. People tend to think of Instagram as a very positive place. And I always promote to keep positivity on Instagram and keep things positive because people even react more on Instagram posts when they are positive. People don't tend to react to negative posts on Instagram, and that doesn't help you with kind of trying to work up in the algorithm. So let's say Chef Heidi is making something and she's using King Arthur's flour. So she wants to say, oh, I'm so excited, blah, 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 using King Arthur's flour to make this bread today, da, 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 da. So by you going in, and I always say, do not tag a business without double checking the account first. You always want to go and take a look that you have their handle correct, because sometimes it's not exactly what you expect it to be. And there are a lot of people who try and put up dummy accounts that are not the exact business. So you want to make sure and give the right place the mention. So always go in and look. Yes, Mary?
Are you going to tell us how to check?
Yes, yes, we can go over that, absolutely. So yes, in order to check, you want to, first you can go and search the business on Instagram. If it comes up and it's something that has one of those blue checks by it, you're golden. Those blue checks mean that it is a certified account. A certified account means that Instagram and the business have gone through different procedures to verify and ensure that that business is exactly who it says it is. You will, there's different kinds of businesses and brands that tend to have certified accounts. You're going to see that on major brands, restaurants, things like that. You're going to see that on anyone in the political spectrum, any celebrities, and any high following influencers actually do get that. It is not something myself or probably any of you will ever have or have the needs to have. It's something that people like me could get, but it costs a lot of money, a lot of legal fees, and it's not a necessity for me to ever have. So now there are times where you may be trying to work with a smaller brand or something and they may not be certified, but sometimes by going through and looking at the account, seeing what's posted, reading the posts and everything, you can get a really good idea whether it's them or it's not. And maybe it is that you've gone to an amazing restaurant, they're brand new, or maybe they don't have social media as of yet, and you want to say something amazing about them, but you can't tag them. There's some other great options for you to do instead. Who is talking about restaurants and saying things about restaurants all the time? Yelp Chicago, Eater Chicago. Maybe they have a Michelin star. The Michelin Guide, although a Michelin starred restaurant is going to have a site, absolutely. So there are many different ways that if these people do not have something as of yet, you can definitely reference to something else. Maybe you want to talk about a beautiful Chicago park, Chicago Park District. They have an account, of course. Maybe you've taken a drive through Illinois, or you're taking a trip down Route 66 and you see something amazing at Enjoy Illinois. There are so many different ways to think about it. And when you do this tagging of other business, like I said, it's kind of like tapping them on the shoulder and saying, hey, guess what, I'm talking about you. And it's really great when those accounts like take notice and go, oh, you are. We're going to give you a like. We're going to say something about it on your picture. It gives you a nice warm fuzzy. It helps you with the algorithm. Someone big like that said something back to you. And it's also possible, if you have a really strong picture, a really great caption and everything, that business could go, or that brand or association or organization could go, we like what you did so much. Can we take what you've done? Can we share it over on our feed too? Sure. Repost me. Make sure you tag me. Show me to your thousands and thousands of followers. Maybe someone will come over and take a look at me and see what I'm doing over here, like it, and follow me back. Really, really positive things can happen. It's all about, you know, networking, meeting, blah, blah. Just like I said, it's a great, fabulous cocktail party. You never know who you're going to run into and rub elbows with. So,
Christine, can you show an example of a safe post or a safe one? Are you showing one? Like that blue arrow you were talking about?
Oh, the blue check? Yeah, we'll go back. I'll show you some certified accounts so that you guys can see that. Exactly. Yep. So then tagging caption, and then down here, after you have actually posted something, you may have people respond back to you, or you may actually respond to yourself or everything. Everything underneath there, that's going to be known as a comment. And like I said, when people comment to you on your post, it's only polite to respond back. Okay? So sometimes I will admit this, sometimes I'm a little guilty in not responding back and not responding back in a timely manner on my thing, but sometimes it's very busy in the comments and it takes a lot. So I try my best to keep up with what happens on mine. All right, so we are going to, let me go back and let me get a verified. So right here, Chef, if you see Mindy Siegel, she's got
Okay.
a blue check right there.
All right.
But you see right here, Hot Chocolate Chicago and Bouchon Bakery, they do not have a certified blue check. But I know by like looking through all of this, Chef Tom Keller, blah, 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 blah. I know this is, I can be pretty confident that this is actually Bouchon. I can be very confident this is hot chocolate. Like a lot of times if you go and look at something, you can, there's a lot of red flags right away. Like the wording might be weird, things are spelled wrong, or just the grammar is incorrect in the bio. The images may be really odd, or I will sometimes even go, like if I'm a little suspicious, I'll go and I'll click on the post. And if I open up a post and there's no caption on it, that's a huge red flag to me that it's not necessarily the right group. So, okay. So now I want to also discuss with you guys a little more on tagging.
Really quick, one question. I'm sorry, Christine.
Absolutely.
So that slew of pictures that comes up, like on Bouchon, is that necessarily chronological? I mean, does it automatically default to chronological? Okay.
So here, let me scooch back to, so here, when you see the feed like this is going to be the most current, and then it will go down from there. So you, as the further you go down, the more back in time you are going.
Gotcha.
And also when you, if you flipped over to the tagged, that's going to appear in chronological as well. But like I said, it's items that people at the account has been tagged on. Now, since we're continuing on with tagging, appearing here in a tagged post is not going to be something where you're, let's say you're writing about the bread that you're making and you're using the King Arthur flour and you say, I use King Arthur, I'm using the @King Arthur flour, blah, 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 to create this. You do not appear here if you have tagged within the caption. So when you tag a business or another account within the caption, like I said, it's a tap on the shoulder because it's going to send that account a notification. So-and-so was talking about you. Basically, so-and-so mentioned you in a caption is what it says. But a very busy account, like let's think about Nike. Nike is huge. People are posting constantly about Nike. They're always going to be tagging Nike and being like, look at my new dope kicks. Aren't they awesome? Da-da-da, got them at Nike. So that is they're very busy with notifications. Their notifications are going like this all the time. So Nike's not going to notice that some guy just mentioned it. They're not going to even notice if like some large celebrity had said anything about it in their caption, because they're getting notifications like crazy and they're not going to scrub through that. So what you do to amp up that kind of tap on the shoulder is if you go and you tag on the image as well. So I'm going to go back to the post. So when you are putting together your post, you actually have the option to tag the image. Now, maybe you've seen this before. I don't think I have a good representation of this right now with me. But if you go on to a post, here I'm gonna see if we can, that looks so weird with my, I wish I can show you guys. So if you have a post and you a picture and you tap on it, see how these little black boxes come up in here? And those have different accounts. You can actually tag on the picture, and that actually becomes a permanent tag, where that is when it will then appear in that account's tagging feed. So I'm going to go back to the Nike example. If I had a Nike, a great, amazing, beautiful shot of Nikes, I tagged them on the image, the Nike marketing person at some point is going to go over and take a look at that. I may have done that picture a month ago, but it's there for them to observe and see and take a look at. Plus, it also ties me to that business where any one of us could go over and look and see, like, hey, I wonder what other people have posted and shared about this brand or business. Click on the tag and you can see everything everyone's done, everything that they've referenced in. So there's another way for people to discover you and find you. All right, so let me give you a quick show on how. So when you are creating your post, and I'm so sorry I cannot do this over the computer because you can only create posts within your phone, but when you are going to create a post and it says tag people, you hit that, and then you can search for the accounts you're looking for, and that will create those black boxes within the image when you tap on it. So that's just extending out what you can do and connecting you to these other brands. And then Gemma, yes, it's a good idea to respond to every comment, because it's like I said, it's like a cocktail party. So you want to kind of answer people back, like even just a thanks or something, or, you know, maybe you're talking about watermelon or something like that. Send them back a little icon of a watermelon, you know, something cute. Doesn't necessarily have to be something long, unless it's someone's like asked a great question, or you do want to chit chat back and forth with this person. I've seen people even come in on something I've done and start a conversation with someone else and then have their own conversation back and forth in the comments of a post that I've created. Okay, so we have the tag in the caption, which is the tap on the shoulder. We have the tag on the image, is that more permanent tie of us to another account. And then we have one more tag opportunity within our post. And that is right here, the Geo Tag. Geo tags actually get viewed more often than items without Geo Tag. So I recommend you Geo Tag everything. Geotagging actually will then tie that post to a location. Now, when you go in to geotag something, when you're creating the post, it says add location. Tap that. Now, your location can be something as specific as my living room, to something more general as Jefferson Park, even more so, metropolitan Chicago, Illinois, United States, the universe. The opportunities are endless. There are several out there. You can even be witty. In fact, I think I posted something like, I found one that was in another dimension. I geotagged that. Why not be witty about it? Think about how it relates to your post. Maybe you're at home. You ordered something in from a fantastic restaurant. Does it really matter that you're at home? Probably not. Could you say that you're at the restaurant because you're featuring that food? Great idea. Nobody cares that you aren't physically at the restaurant, but it's another great way to then tie your post to that location too. Because I can go in, when I'm looking at Instagram, I can tap on that geotag and it'll show me all the things that have been tagged and tied to that location. It's actually a really great way to look up the restaurants restaurants' offerings right away and see what other people have taken pictures of. I will tell you, I've actually figured out what to order from a place once just by doing that. So it's actually a really kind of cool resource, and it can be something that you can have a lot of fun with. But always try and geotag if you can. All right. So since we have talked about tagging, I'm just going to talk slightly on hashtags, and I think we'll wrap it up for the day. Hashtags are totally different, of course, from any of these tagging things that I've been speaking about. But hashtags are actually extremely, extremely important on Instagram. Does anyone know what the exact purpose of a hashtag is? It does have a purpose.
To confuse all the moms out there who think it's a pound sign.
No.
Is it to accumulate all the same information together? So everybody's who's interested in some specific, like the Navy Pier or Disney World.
You're on the right path. You're on the right path. All right, you guys ready?
Ready.
It is so that people can find you. They are like breadcrumbs. This really helps identify what you are talking about, and again, also helps to collectively catalog things too, just like Paul was saying. It does help to catalog things. So when thinking about hashtags to use, does anyone even know how many hashtags you can use on a post? There is a magical number. You're only allowed so many.
50.
Nope. Lower.
7.
Higher than 20.
Oh.
Higher than that.
30.
30. 30 is the magical number. Now that's a lot. That's a lot. I try to use 30 every time. Sometimes I use 29, which there's a whole story behind that we're not going to get into. But I try to use 30 every time. Granted, if you're just like starting to get really active on Instagram, it's really hard to get to that kind of a number. It takes a lot. And if you're regularly posting and stuff, there's lots of things you can do to like save your own lists and have something that you may reuse and things like that. And there's a whole hashtag strategy. If you guys are interested, I can do a whole thing on hashtags, but I'm just okay. We'll do a hashtag class because I can talk about hashtags for a pretty long time. With hashtags, there are 3 different things you can think about when looking for hashtags. So when I think about my 30 for a post, I think about it in 3 sections. 1 is about what the post is about. What are the specifics I'm talking about? What are the topics? What's the subject matter? Blah, blah, blah. The second is what is my feed and my brand all about? What are the things I'm trying to convey and talk about within my account? The third, who's my audience? Who do I want to reach? What are those demographics? Who are those people? Can I define those people? This is the hardest one sometimes for people to really get a grasp on and everything, especially if you're doing it just for fun. But if you're doing it as a business or as a brand, of course, you're going to kind of identify and slim out what that is and really, really define who that is. So it then becomes a bit easier. All right. Now, we will have a full hashtag class. I will make that happen so we can really dive into a lot more on it. But I'm going to wrap up for today. But I'm going to say one thing about hashtags before we depart. Did anyone know that you can actually follow a hashtag? And following that hashtag means that the best posts from that hashtag are going to enter your feed?
Yes.
Yeah. What kind of a hashtag should you follow? Should you follow one that's gigantic or one that's small?
Things that you're interested in.
Yes, but should it be a hashtag that has tons and tons of people posting on it?
No.
Yeah. If you're following it and you want to get amazing posts and cool inspiration, you want to follow the largest ones possible.
Oh.
An example of a large one, hashtag food porn. Seriously, you want to have amazing pictures of food, hashtag food porn. Okay. Yep, you want those big, gigantic. You can go in and search and look at the hashtags and see how many posts are there. The bigger, the better for following. But when using hashtags on your own post, stay away from those big ones.
Yeah.
And we'll get into that the next time. All right, well, thank you guys. Oh, and Deb asked, what's my Instagram handle? Yep, I will type it in here for you all. It is I gotta spell it right, Duke Exploratorium. And I will tell you, when you start typing it in on your Instagram, usually by the time you get to the X in it, my account pops up. So you'll see me, I am upside down and I have 2 little feet in my face and I'm wearing a striped shirt. So you should notice it right away. I would love it if you follow me. You follow me, I will follow you back. Because again, it's social, like a cocktail party, especially if I know you in real life, I want to follow you back. So anyone have any questions before we wrap it up?
Is it easy to change your name on your account?
Yes,
So,
it is extremely easy to change your name on your account. Although I do recommend, if you are going to change your handle and you have a good amount of following, or maybe it's even just your friends and family, do a post letting people know that it's going to change. Don't just all of a sudden do it, because especially if you're going to change your handle, maybe you change your profile picture soon behind, people are not going to recognize it as you. So it's like, I went through a name change a couple years ago, and because I have a good amount of followers and everything, I actually had a few different posts and was warning people and letting people know it was coming before it came, so that then when the change happened, they weren't like, wait, what is this? Or they didn't know how to go and find me, because sometimes with bigger accounts, it's really hard for us to fight in the algorithm to get seen and things. And so sometimes people who are loyal followers will have to go and hunt us down and find us. So you want to make sure they know what to look for.
how many followers before you start getting like funded in a sense? Like, are these like thousands and thousands of followers before companies start calling out to you?
No, and it is not. And sometimes it's more you being active first. I had my first collaboration right around, I was maybe around 1,000 followers when I had my first collaboration. So, and there are lots of people who have smaller accounts. Now, sometimes they may have blogs and stuff that may have more behind them, but not necessarily. So if the content is really strong, and the engagement is really good too, you can get pretty early. So,
How do you tell when a follower is a bot? B-O-T, bot.
Sometimes you can kind of tell by reactions. If they're actually reacting to you and commenting on things, bots, you can sniff them out right away because it's so ingenuine. And then sometimes like you can go and look at their account and just seeing what the posts are and what's happening in it, it can be kind of obvious. So, and Instagram actually has a new feature on it right now, which is really cool, where if you go and look at your followers, which actually I'm not certain if this works on personal and private accounts, but this works on business and creator accounts. You can go to your followers and it'll tell you the 50 that you've interacted with the least in the past like 90 days. So those you can then go and see and take a look at them and be like, okay, what's up with these? And sometimes like when going through that, I can find bots and scrub them out and everything.
How do you do that? Do you put a block on them, or?
You can make them unfollow you.
Yeah.
You can you can actually, like, in Instagram will sometimes, like if you go and unfollow them, they'll like trigger it back and be like, do you want to have us remove their following of you? And you can do that too. It's a little more complicated and in depth to get into that, but it's a possibility to have them removed. But I always tell my students, if anyone is reaching out to you, making you uncomfortable, you don't want to communicate with them, you have a problem with them, it is your responsibility as a member of the Instagram community to block and report. You see any problems happening in the community, we have to police ourselves there. You block and report and do it, you know, just to help make sure and keep it as safe as a social media platform as it can be. So, and you get lots of interesting things coming across, like people bothering you over cryptocurrency, and I had a man trying to sell me ATM cards and all kinds of weird things. So, but yeah, all right. Well, thank you everyone. Wow, I talked for a while, so definitely we'll have a hashtag session and we can really delve into that in the future. All right, everyone have a great Thursday.
Thanks.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Good class.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.